everyone to another Trotec Laser live stream on a Friday, wherever you happen to be watching this in the future. So happy to have you with us. My name is Don. I am joined by Miguel Machado. How are you, sir?
That's the wrong name.
What do you mean? Oh, because I see. Well, which one do you want to go by? Is it the actual?
No. He's not gonna like that. He's not gonna like. Hello, everyone. I'm Miguel Machado.
We were talking about Miguel being Mike Clark Kent before the stream, but I think it just implies that Mike is Superman, which, I mean, look, if you ask him directly, he's not going to tell you, but if you ask him in confidence, you know.
He's also not going to tell you.
He's also not going to tell you. So glad that you guys could all join us. Please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. So happy to have you with us, whether you're joining us from YouTube, from LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, anywhere. Very happy to have you here with us today. Biggest thing, I always want to remind you guys at the start of the stream, please throw any questions you have during the stream into chat. We're very happy to grab them. If we don't grab your question immediately, rest assured I'm grabbing them as we go. I'll probably stop Miguel here and there for a batch of questions, but yeah, we're here to help you guys. So this is your chance to get to talk to Miguel in particular, who is like a real expert on this sort of stuff. He is the man when it comes to lasers. Don't tell Mike. This is a great chance to get to ask us anything and everything about Trotec. But specifically today, we're going to be talking about the CL and doing some kind of leather, textile marking, that kind of thing. I don't know, man. Do you want to give us an idea what we're in store for? Like, you've got some cool stuff, I think.
Yeah. So what I've been thinking, I know we put clothing, and it is kind of clothing, but it's more about personalization, right? And this idea came from one day I walk into a Tommy Hilfiger store, and do not judge me for that. And then I saw one Denny pant that I was pretty sure it had the Tommy Hilfiger, how's it called, a signature engraved on it. And I remember that we do have. Oh, should I get it? The jacket. To show the camera.
I mean, if you have it handy, that'd be great. Yeah. You guys can also find a video of this jacket being done on our YouTube channel. I have it here, but I won't spoil the surprise for you. Cheryl, Beverly, Tony, Tanner, very happy to have you all with us. Artisans, welcome back again. Lorraine, how are you? So glad for AC. I should let you guys all know Miguel is in our tech area because he's using a very particular machine, the SpeedMarker CL he's on again this week, which is located in the back of our warehouse right now, and so he does not have AC. So, I mean,
yes,
pour one out for Miguel.
Really comfortable. Yeah.
Yes.
So check this out. That was engraved on the denim jacket, and honestly, it looks pretty good, especially in person. So, if you haven't seen it, come to the Mississauga office for a demo, and you'll be able to see it. Okay, up close. So, we also have in the pants, I don't know if I can lift that in a way that doesn't destroy it, but in the pants, we have a few panels of Star Wars. So let me see if I can show you. For those that are as nerdy as I am, Luke Skywalker.
I love these pants.
There you go. Now, of course.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, of course, this is kind of, too advanced of a personalization. I mean, a customer can come to you and say, hey, I want Luke Skywalker's face on my pants, but what we're going to try to show today is how the SpeedMarker can do promotion items and clothing and any type of items that you might want to do and personalize, and how easy it is with this machine. Then Speedy.
I want to hit that again. I want to underscore, like, you're exactly right. We're showing textiles today, partially because I think it's a really cool application, partially because we don't get to talk about it a whole bunch. But anything that Miguel shows today, this is the sort of personalization you can repurpose for a lot of different materials, right? I mean, the CL is pretty flexible.
Yes.
Check our video from a couple weeks ago where Miguel took us through CL marking on the bottles. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty cool.
Flexible, and more than that, and that kind of adds to why this stream is happening this week, is that I had a customer that wanted to bring a machine to fairs, like to events, and personalize right then and there. Now, you can do that with a Speedy, of course, but you probably need a truck and you have to be aware of, being alignment, all that stuff. You have to be pretty savvy to, if there's any problems, which when it comes to our build quality probably won't. But if you do have, if you, I don't know, something happens with your truck and there's a big bump and you have to realign one mirror, you have to know how to do that, right? With the CL, it's literally plug and play. Like, it already comes with the computer, right? It already has its own thing in its own system. You can put inside any car because it's rather small. And if you have an acrylic lid that we do have, but it's full of stuff on top of it now because it's in the tech area, just put on top of it. You need a small exhaust and you'll be good to go, right? And you can take that to, not, I would say trade shows, but basically events in which you can do personalization on the spot, retail to the customer.
So that is a very, very good point. I have a really quick video I want to show. So I don't want to tip our hand too early of some of the stuff that you have coming up, but can I show one of the videos you sent me yesterday of you working on the laser leather to give an idea of how quick this thing is? Like, the CL, one of the best parts about it, I would argue, is obviously going to be its marking speed. Let me see. I think this might be the one. Let's see if that pops up here. So I don't know if you can walk us through kind of what we're seeing here, because there is a lot of smoke.
Yeah, quick no. So when I'm testing stuff, do not do that at home. I'm quite lazy, so I was just testing. I didn't have an exhaust, so that smoke is like, basically there's not even a fan there. I just threw it beneath the CL and hit go. So that's why it's smoking that much. But you should have an exhaust all the time. Also, protection, right? If you just do it by yourself, you can have these acrylic glasses. That's why I'm using them. Wear acrylic lid to be, just in case there's any reflections. I mean, there's not going to be a reflection from leather, but in case there is a reflection, it can harm your eyes. So it's good for you to have some protection. With that said, what I did here was just a Raptors logo, and it took roughly, I think, 20 seconds. 18.
It's the full video is 27, and it doesn't start marking for the first two, and it finishes marking like at 25. So yeah, it's about 22, 23 seconds. But I mean, like, that's a finished quality mark right there, and it's a complex icon too. It's not just like a name or some text or a monogram, whatever.
Really filled up. So I wanted to do that logo because I wanted to showcase something that has some height. This is a 2x2, and the other one that I did in the Speedy is also 2x2. So you can show now the Speedy.
Oh, sure, yeah. One thing I will say, do you want to quickly, so I don't know if we want to discuss
Thank you.
We want you guys to know, like, it's not that the Speedy is slow by any means, but it's just that the CL is exceptional.
Yeah.
So the CL is like a very, very
I'm pretty sure we were the fastest machines in the market at that level. So, yeah. It took a total of 1 minute and 45 seconds to do the logo, while it took 20-something seconds to do on the CL. Now, if we're talking about patches, and this is a thing that I've been thinking yesterday about it, about ROI and how to present that to you guys. But it gets a little bit complicated because we're not talking about just patches, right? We're talking about personalization. We're talking about something unique for each customer. And the price for that would change depending on, one, how complex it is for you to make it happen. Two, the price of the item that the customer is giving you. So for example, if they give you like a wallet from Amazon that costs like $40, you can charge like 15, 20. That's fine. But what if they give you like one of the Little King Goods wallets that costs like $600? You're not gonna get it for $20, right? Like, you're not gonna risk something like that for $20. So, the price would change if you're doing a keychain that's made of, I don't know, like crappy. It's gonna be one price. If you're doing from a chop value chopstick assemble, I don't know how they call this, but it's gonna be another price, and so on and so forth, right? It's not gonna be the same price for every product. You have to know that. But one thing that is that a customer?
Yeah, so I didn't want to interrupt you. You're exactly right. This is a customer of ours, D Nice Customs. D Nice Customs on Instagram. Definitely check them out. They are unbelievable. They do really cool stuff with the laser. One of the principal things, as you can see, that they do is sneakers. Obviously, sneakers and shoes. We did a laser jam. It was one of our very early ones, actually, with D Nice Customs. They're telling us about doing, custom Yeezys and custom shoes that are worth, a decent amount of change. 750 Yeezys and stuff. Some of the the more expensive Yeezys, and it's just a question of making sure that the customization, as Miguel said, the customization, and that so obviously the custom paint job and stuff in this case, that you're charging what is equivalent to the job that you're doing and the difficulty of that job. I mean, we've talked to people who've done their great grandfather's one of one Civil War rifle and stuff, and the added risk that you take in that case is worth charging whatever you believe to be fair and make it worth your time, but then also you're taking automatically a bit of a risk there, so there's nothing wrong with charging a bit of a premium.
And that's where I think the CL shines, because the CL has way more settings options when it comes to engraving, right, compared to a Speedy. So with the Speedy, the best things you can do would be like a control in case of speed, power, Z offset, and also different lenses, I would say, right? Number of passes maybe, if you want, and we're gonna show a video showing that. Like, I was in Vancouver with this customer, and he showed me a technique that he does on, I think, a Nike Air 1, like Air Force, I think. I don't know.
I've got it here. Do you want me to show the video?
Yeah, that'd be cool. They were doing a Harry Potter logo for his kid, and I thought it was incredible, because at the beginning I didn't know exactly how it would turn out, but it became pretty cool. So, and you use a cloth as a jig.
I can even back up here because I've got the So taping off. I assume the Henrik would be the name of his son.
His kid. Yeah.
And then like you said.
So this whole thing there, just, you can stop there for a while. Yeah, so this whole part of this whole setup, it's way easier on a CI, in my opinion, right? It's an open system. You can do the jig that you want to do, and you have the two dots that will align. So if you can show the camera down, I think the camera is properly focused right now, so they will see that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Can you put it in full screen?
Absolutely.
So if you guys can see that, there. Oh my God, my hand should be there. So I think it kind of got frozen.
It's lagging a little. Do you want me to just? There it is. Oh yeah, it's come back.
Okay. So you can see the dot, like one dot, and there's another dot right on top of it. So yeah, it's lagging a little because there's one dot here, and another dot here, the big one that you can see on the video. So there's two dots, and when there's the two dots aligned, I think it's kind of blurry. When I gotta get another big Ethernet cable for this, but there are two dots that will align when they're in focus. And also, the CL has a much bigger range, right? Clearance from the lens than a 2-inch lens will have on a Speedy. So you can deal with slopes much easier, right? If I take one of these, I mean, it looks kind of, right? It looks weird, but one of these tests was me, I think it was this one. It was just engraving from here to here without any rotary. So this is a pretty good angle, I would say, right? On clearance on a, let's say, flat engraving. So that's what I did, and you could get away with that on a sneaker, no problem. However, when it comes to a gantry laser, you have to take that into consideration, right? That if you're engraving a certain part of the sneaker, let's say, and it has a slope, you will lose that detail, So there's also 100%. That to add to why I think the CL is much better for this type of products, right? But yeah, go ahead, show the rest of the video, please.
Absolutely. The other thing to bear in mind, I think, also is that if you're at all familiar with our like our galvo lasers in general, it's just like it's a head that operates on the Z-axis principally, so straight up, straight down, and that's what's bringing those two dots kind of into focus there, like Miguel was talking about. That kind of interaction, that UI experience is going to be exactly the same as what you're already used to. The CL isn't anything different than any of our other SpeedMarker lasers in terms of like how it's operated from product to product, and also in terms of speed. I mean, it matches. It's a CO2 laser, but a CO2 galvo, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that he did, can you show the Harry Potter logo? I think it's because the name, it's one thing that also the SpeedMarker software is much better than I wouldn't say Ruby right now, because Ruby has a bunch of new features, but job control used to be. So the SpeedMarker has text within it, right? And that helps a lot when you're doing this type of personalization, and I'll show later. But yeah, so he did the Harry Potter logo, and what was interesting about that was that initially, I didn't know how it would turn out, but that thing was black, like looked like it was printed. You can
sort of see it here, just as soon as he finishes the weeding here. I think it shows kind of so obviously he's masking, right, to protect the leather and to protect the shoes a little bit. You can see there though, like Miguel's talking about, it's dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
But when you peel off that tape,
mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it was printed on it, just like inkjet black. So to me it was surprising, because the way that he did was using like medium speed, medium power, and he ran I think 7 times, right, 7 passes. So every pass, I was like, oh my god, is this going to work? Is this going to work? And eventually it did work. So it was surprising for me to see that. But of course, he's doing that. I forgot his name, but I know the name of the company is Trotec Design. They're doing that in East Vancouver for like almost a decade, maybe. It's been like a long time that he's working there with a different company, I would say. And then he opened Trotec Design. He has like 3 companies. And one of the companies basically does that, which is personalization of one-off items, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's incredible, right? The techniques that he came to deal with that. And he told me that he was doing $5,000 sneakers.
Wow.
So this whole thing, those 2 sneakers, I think took half an hour for him to do.
Right.
Because even though it's a small name, small logo, he I think it was 6-7 passes. So it was around 3.5 minutes, because it was kind of slow as well. So he didn't need to use too much power. And I think he had a 120 watt 400.
Wow.
And it took roughly half an hour.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, where you're saying that like even the comparison between the 2 Raptors logos and then half an hour for 1 pair of shoes. I mean, if you're doing $5,000 shoes and you're able to charge a real premium in terms of to that customer, it's worth it to them to get that one-off personalization. I mean, that's huge, but at the same time, that's quite a while to spend when either the CL could do it quite a bit quicker, or you're in a position where it's opportunity cost, right? You're giving up a half hour of work that you could be doing on any number of other things, kind of thing.
Exactly. And again, it's a 400, so it needs to be in a shop because it's a heavy, machine. And this one can be taken to a mall, for instance, if you want to do that. If you have the guts to do that, because personally, we do have that happening everywhere with other types of products, like jewelry, right? How many jewelry stores we have that have our galvos, and they just do personalization right there on the spot. You bring in like a gold bracelet or a necklace, and they will personalize for you right then and there. Same thing with this one, right? But enough talk. So one good example, we bought denim from Amazon, but we just didn't know that it was going to be paper thin denim, right? This thing is thin.
I mean, that is like thin. Holy smokes!
It's like 1 thread of cotton glued on a paper. So my testings gave me nothing. Everything was ripping apart. So if you're going to use CO2 lasers on any type of fabric, they have to be rather, I wouldn't say that thick, but at least a little bit thick. I've done it on t-shirts, on cotton t-shirts, on fleece jackets. Suede is pretty good. how's it called? Twill, kind of the twill is better for cutting than engraving, but most of the things that you're gonna do, when it comes to clothing, needs to have a good amount of thickness for it to survive the laser. So there you go.
You can see even in the video, like there are some thinner items. So there's exactly the jacket that Miguel was showing you. But the stuff that has kind of stood the test of time, I mean, you'll see some like denim shirts and things in the video. The only pieces we still have are the jacket and jeans, because like say kind of the thickness of that denim put it in a position where it could, kind of hold up for a while and, not ruin its structural integrity with the marking.
Yep.
I mean, at the same time, like, I think don't let that dissuade you from potentially trying the application. It is a really, really cool application. Particularly, and just to take us to one quick aside, as you showed in the beginning there, Miguel, on some of the videos, like with our laser leather, because it's not like it's an imitation fabric as opposed to like a fabric. Obviously, it's going to give a bit of a different reaction, a bit of a different finish, but personalization in particular on all kinds of textiles and stuff is pretty cool, and I think maybe an underexplored area of laser marking, or at least one that we don't necessarily hear about as much as some of the more typical ones.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I was gonna say something I completely forgot.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
But in any case, I have here what I found to be probably my last piece of rawhide leather, and I said to Lev that I didn't have it, but I quite found it today, and I wanted to show you guys because, well, it's real leather, right? And you see how fast and good this thing is. It's gonna smoke a little bit, but let me share my screen.
Sure.
With the SpeedMarker, actually it has to be my entire screen because, yeah. So Don, please navigate me because I'm not seeing anything. So this is the Raptors logo, right? Mm-hmm. That I was using, and one cool thing about this whole software is that you have two types of text, but let's use type font, right? When you add a text, you can add a whole wall of text. So you can choose any font that is installed in your computer. You can put line spacing, character spacing, bold, italic, full bold and full italic, right? If they don't have it, and it just adds to a certain like speed of personalization that you wouldn't really get it otherwise. Like Ruby helps you with that right now, but Ruby is not as robust when it comes to text as a SpeedMarker, right? So this thing here, if someone brings something to you to personalize, you can do it right on the spot, no problem. So let me see if I can find anything that looks like, because this computer has nothing installed. So yeah, I'm gonna use Segoy, and hopefully that's good. So I'm gonna put a bold and
It's funny, I know someone named Miguel.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
He's a good dude. Looks good in glasses, safety glasses.
Yeah. Okay, again, I'm not seeing anything, so if there's any questions in the chat, please let me know.
It's okay. We got one or two coming up, but I will throw them to you maybe after this.
So, and the parameters I'm using are rather slow and how's it called? And also weak. I'm using only 25% of power. Now I could use 3,000 marking speed, and maybe 60% power would kind of give me the same.
Sorry. 3,000 speed?
Yeah. So actually, the marking speed I think maximum is 2,000. But
oh my god.
Yeah. So the 20 seconds that you saw is actually half of what I can do, right? I can go over that, but my testing to this one here. Let me go back. Let me show you guys this one here.
Yep.
Didn't give me very good results, but again, when it comes to personalization, the application is probably the most important part of it, not the laser. So if you have, kind of iffy quality, anything, it's gonna look iffy, right?
Yeah.
Just like the denim.
A Rolex
Next time
is going to
over.
mark differently than a watch from, Sears.
Yeah.
It's just
I was gonna say a Timex, but no, Timex is kind of, it's a classic.
They've got some good stuff, I think. Casio watch, Casio calculators.
Also not classic. So yeah, let's go back to
to SpeedMark.
SpeedMark. Where it is. So there you go.
There it
I'm
is.
gonna put back here 1,000. And once I have that, both of them have the exact same project materials, right? That's it. Like I only took that much because I was explaining to you guys, but to me it was just making the name Miguel, press F9, make sure where it is right now, and because I don't have an Ethernet cable on my laptop, you guys cannot see that in HD. Then I'm gonna run this, and it's running.
Man, that's
Now-
fast.
And now this is a good quality leather. Like, I don't even need to clean that. Look at that. It looks
Wow.
sharp.
I don't know if
Okay.
you can hold it up to the camera. It looks really good from this angle, but like,
Probably gonna lose a little bit of focus, but it looks really
Ooh.
sharp.
that does look really nice. It's a little blurry, but you can still see. Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, so that took 29 seconds.
Holy smokes. I love the speed markers.
Know what I
They're
mean?
so good.
And
I will say, really quick, hello to everybody who's joining us a little bit later here in chat. So happy to have you guys with us. Yovan makes a really good point too about like the material quality, that they did some engraving on various leathers. And they said with an ultra thin leather, it would warp, just like it would with like a Trolleys thin or anything like that. And you'd get, obviously uneven engraving across it. So, even with something
Maybe.
like this, you know,
we have something called laser leather.
yes, sir.
Yes, it's very thin. Very
Mhm.
thin. But now this is my marketeer approach. So you guys can see the quality of the Trotec materials. Check this out. Do not laugh. I'm not as good as you, Don.
No, it's good. I have to say, I love the laser leather. It's so, to be clear, if you've never used the laser leather before, it comes in big sheets. They're not quite the size of a full like plastic sheet, but they're pretty close. It comes in packs of 5, I believe. It's a plastic. It's an imitation leather. But Miguel, you can vouch for this. Like the feeling of the leather side, like the black side that you have face up here in the laser is pretty close, right?
Pretty good.
But as you guys saw in the beginning of the stream, if you saw the very beginning of the stream, or I think Miguel's going to show us now in his engraving, when you engrave that kind of top layer off, I think it might be. Is it running right now?
Yeah, it's running right now.
Okay, I think there might be a delay on the camera, but that is okay. Maybe I will remove it and reconnect.
Yeah,
But
on my laptop it shows okay. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's because I'm the one streaming it.
seeing it a little bit
Yeah.
now. I'll show we'll show the finished product, but I can also show the video that you sent me from the beginning of the stream here.
Please do.
When you're running with the laser leather, basically what you're talking about is something that's going to, when you remove that top kind of leather layer,
Yep.
you're going to get a color that shines through. So whether it's, I think it comes in like 4 or 5 different colors. It is a plastic technically. It's basically a laminacoid. It's basically a piece of Trolleys in a way, but the top layer is kind of a leather-like. But I think the quality it gives and the results it gives are pretty great. You can see I want to get a shot without the smoke here if I can. There we go. You can see like Miguel did this in about 22 seconds, and it's nice.
I can show it on my camera on the
Sure.
here. Not the HD camera because we need better internet, but there you go.
Yeah, that's really, really nice.
Right. So it's easy, it's quick, it looks really nice. So it's always about the quality of the product. So that's why when I was doing the ROI cases, I was like, wait a second. there's a huge difference based on that. So I think I rather leave to you guys, to question what you're doing, because at the end of the day, I had a couple customers actually come to me and say, "Hey, how mobile are these machines?" I mean, they're pretty mobile. I mean, we're going to Halifax in what, a month, right? Roughly. And we're
Yeah,
taking what, 400 and then SpeedMarker 300.
Yeah, I will tell you exactly. Actually, I'll tell you dates and everything in just a minute here.
Yeah. And we will send the machines. We'll get the machines there. We'll put inside the hotel, and I'm pretty sure that we're not gonna even have to realign anything. So
on this day in 3 weeks, you will be in Halifax at this time.
There you go. If anybody is from the Maritimes, me, Mike Clark, or actually Mike Clark and me, because I'm his sidekick, we will be in Halifax doing a hotel show for 3 days. 3 days. Okay? 3 days.
8, 9th,
so
10th.
yeah, so we're gonna do seminars, demos. So if you are in the Maritimes and you want to talk to us from Trotec, that will be your opportunity. Yeah. So with that said, this machine is much more mobile than a CD, right? Actually, I think it weighs around 80 pounds, 100 pounds. So you can actually carry that, with your one arm. You cannot lift a
speedy.
Yeah. I mean, don't I know about that? Those machines are like tanks, so we have to kind of, we struggle to move those things. But when, for instance, we will take a SpeedMarker 300, but if we had a setup for the CL, we definitely would get it, because it's an easy machine to just bring with you, and we don't have a 50 fiber thing, so we're gonna take the 300. Still, the 300 is really easy, wasn't it? When we're doing the trade shows, we just put that on top of like a, how's it called, that, the U-line
table, or
the
like
U-line stand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the U-line stand, and we just roll it on top of the truck, and then roll it back, and everything was fine. When we got to the show, it was engraving perfectly. When we got back, it was engraving perfectly. It's the same machine that's there for demos. So that gives you a freedom to take these things to events, right? And now I'm gonna show this thing here.
Awesome.
Another thing that we're gonna have that's coming real soon for these machines are the motorized stands, Z stands, right?
That's cool.
And that's gonna be a game changer too, because now we have the whole solution with you. While we don't have that.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I have a Amazon scissor lift that I have to manually focus, but yeah.
I mean, I think it deserves a shout out on the stream, considering the fact that you're going above and beyond to make sure it happens. While you get that set up, can I toss you a couple questions maybe from chat, and you can give us sort of your feeling on them.
Yep.
Again, just a huge thanks to everyone for watching. If you're joining partway through, welcome. We're showing off some textile marking, some clothing marking, that kind of thing on the SpeedMarker CL. We're going to have this video up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Trotec Canada, on YouTube after the stream is concluded. So you can always go back if you missed any part of it. But we're glad you're with us. We're glad you're watching. A quick question here coming from LinkedIn, asking about cutting a shiny 100 micron thick glass without cracks. So I will defer to Miguel on this one, but my understanding is, like, typically we wouldn't recommend that you cut glass with a laser, because you would often end up with a serrated, sharp edge. It would not be kind of safe to handle after cutting it with a laser. At least that's my understanding. Have you ever heard anything different than that, Miguel? I don't know if.
Look,
even a thin glass.
I have something in my mind, but I'd rather keep that to myself. If I don't want to put that type of stuff out there. But my answer is no. You probably can, right? You shouldn't. There's probably other techniques out there rather than a CO2 laser, but that they're better. But can you do it? Maybe. I mean,
technically, I think you could cut it, but I would never advise you do it, because I think you'll have a sharp, knife edge on the side of the glass, so you would not be able to handle it safely or anything like that afterwards. So, unfortunately, it's just one of those. I think you're right. I think it would be something maybe another technique.
Yeah,
Question
thermal
for you.
separation is transpiration.
Where did it go? From Jovan about like tips for handling super thin materials. So if you've got to engrave a super thin material, but it's prone to warping, any sort of tips or tricks for something that, you know, if somebody's using a Speedy or a CL would be a good choice potentially for a thin material because it's so fast you might not get the same, you know, warping. But yeah, I'd throw it over to you. Tips for super thin stuff.
Yeah. Get a vacuum bed. That's the best tip I can get. Get a vacuum bed. Like anything else, it's kind of band-aid approach, right? And if you don't have a vacuum bed and you're doing a lot of thin stuff, you should have a vacuum bed. It makes everything easier. Way less setup time. Yeah, it's gonna cost you, but again, it's all about ROI, right? Like that's what we're talking about. So you will be paying. I don't know how much a vacuum bag costs, to be honest. You'll be paying maybe like a grand or a couple grand for something that will save you hours on a week. You know, maybe like half a dozen hours in a week.
Potentially save you a lot of material too if you don't have to redo or change projects.
Exactly.
Last question I'll throw you. We have a question from Artisans about the price range of our speed markers. So I will caveat this in advance, obviously, that we don't usually give out pricing on the streams because, again, we have viewers. I mean, we're very fortunate to have viewers from all over the world, but we only have pricing for Canada, right? What I would say is that, like, typically we recommend just, head to troteclaser.com, get in contact with your local Trotec. They'll give you, kind of a range. But
talk to James. I'm pretty sure that he will give you the best price or range.
If you're in Canada, James really knows his speed marker stuff. I mean, there's no question about that.
But I think I can give a range. I think.
Well, and I would say, could you give us also a range in terms of like it doesn't have to be perfect, but like the sizes. Like when you look at the speed markers, just to quickly, the CL is one particular size, but just a reminder, the speed markers come in all different dimensions and stuff too. We don't often get to show off the bigger ones, but they're in all different shapes and sizes. I'll see if I pull up the webpage, but sorry, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so a price of speed marker will vary. Well, first, if it's a CO2 or a fiber, it will range from 42 to, well, could go close to like 200,000, but that depends on what you're doing, right? Most of the average speed markers will be from 42 to 57, and that includes the CO2 galvos and the fiber galvos, depending on what you're doing. So I think the U300 is around 43 grand, which is the cheapest one. This machine here, the CO2, I think this is a 60 watt. Pretty sure it's a 60 watt. It's around 57 grand. Yeah. So for leasing, it ranges around $950 a month to like $1,100.
Yeah, all depending on how big of a particular machine you want to go with. But again, it's one of these things that like is so great about lasers in general that, as a generality, of course, but once you know how to run one, you have a very good sense of how to run basically any of them. They're all going to work in roughly the same way, particularly within one family, right? Like all the speed markers will work basically the same way. All the speedies will work basically the same way. So, it's kind of the speed marker family is one of those things that we've definitely tried to talk about them more recently, but it's something I think we're still trying to, find a way to show them on stream in a cool way. So if you guys like to see more of them, please let us know.
And also, why not give them the reason why we're doing that? Because most of the speed marker customers that we've been having this year, which has been a big increase, is existing customers. People that bought a machine a couple years ago. The business is growing a lot, and they are trying to look for solutions that don't require buying 3 machines and having 3 other operators. And there's a whole overhead cost of having 4 300s in your shop rather than 1 300 to do cutting, engraving, and big bed, or 400, right, for big bed applications, and 1 speed marker to do this, right, promotional products. So the time that takes you to run, okay, I'll just a second. I'll try to rejoin here, guys.
Sure.
Because I think my mic is kind of bad.
It's just a little bit clippy, but You make a really good point, though. I mean, the thing is, too, I think there are a lot of times where we'll get the chance to talk to, as Miguel was saying, like existing customers at trade shows and events and things like this. And oftentimes people maybe aren't even aware that our Galvos I was just saying, like, totally following up exactly what you're saying. There are times where we'll get the chance to talk to customers at events and trade shows, and they haven't even heard of our Galvo lasers, or oh yeah, that sounds perfect. They don't know, what the big difference would be. But Miguel's exactly right. Like existing customers that are now able to, I mean, double or triple their ROI in terms of marking for particular items just by adding in that's what the SpeedMarker does best, right?
And it's about the combo. I have customers that came to me and asked about flex machines. Flex machines are absolutely great, but what are we doing, right? If we're doing jewelry, I wouldn't get a flex. I would get a SpeedMarker and a Speedy, and having both in my shop would give me not only a bigger range of things to do, but while I'm running the Speedy, remember I said, I think 2 streams ago, that when you're running something, you can go and do something else, right? And people were like, you shouldn't leave your laser unattended. It's like, well, but I'm talking about doing something in the shop. So you can run the laser, and the laser is going to be running, let's say, a Speedy for half an hour, doing a full bed of jobs. And then you go to the SpeedMarker and do those one-offs. They were overcharging like crazy, right? So...
Well, we showed that video from Shrapnel, right? I mean, and obviously, like, there's no right answer. It's whatever suits your business best. But Miguel's exactly right. I mean, if he has a second laser that can be running while he's working on that individual, 30-minute, very specialized job, he's doubling his productivity just by having and I mean, you gave the range earlier. Again, don't hold us to it. Like, it's, we know Canada better than we know necessarily the rest of the world, obviously. But at the same time, the cost of even making your CO2 Speedy into a flex can sometimes be enough that you'd be getting close to the price of a small SpeedMarker anyhow. So
it wouldn't be as, like, not even close to as fast as a SpeedMarker. Like, no, like the flexes are great if you're doing full beds of tags and things like that. It's really good.
Yeah,
but if we're talking about more specialized applications or annealing tags and things like that, no way, man. Like, no way. If you do a full bed of annealing tags on a Speed, and the Speed is gonna take a while, right?
Yeah.
Because the dot size of the fiber laser is much smaller. The flex machines don't have as much power as the SpeedMarkers do. Like, when you get a SpeedMarker, it can get from 20 watts to 100 watts, right? Depending on the laser that you're getting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it's mostly to 50 watt, but then when you get to the 700, I think 1300, you can get the MOPA lasers, right? Which goes to 100 watt. So it depends a lot on what you're doing, but in any case, it would be way faster, like way faster. So I wouldn't go with the flex if I'm doing those two things. If I have a big production with cuts and engraving, I'm gonna do on a Speedy, and if I'm just gonna do personalization items and one-offs, I'm gonna do on a SpeedMarker. And honestly, that's what I tell people that come here for demos. I'd rather have one of each than 3 Speedies or 4 Speedies, right? Because again,
totally
somebody has to operate those machines, and like, your costs are gonna go higher and higher because you have to hire people to operate those machines.
Absolutely. The last thing I would mention too, I'll add in the wallet. I'm excited to see this. The SpeedMarkers are also super great for integrations. So if you're looking if you already have, let's say, like an assembly line or something in situ or like in place, and you need to then add a laser on top of that to add a personalization option, the SpeedMarkers are sort of built with that in mind, as opposed to the Speedies. Like, trying to incorporate a Speedy into an already existing production line. I'm not going to say it wouldn't be possible, but it'd be certainly far more difficult than integrating a SpeedMarker, which is kind of built to, work with that automation in a much simpler, much, more straightforward way.
Yeah. And to be honest, you can see where your engraving is going to be, projected on the item. It's so quick and so easy to do, right? That to me, I was like, oh, but you have a camera. Yeah, but it's a couple steps, and also there's an extra couple seconds. The SpeedMarker can do that in like 5 seconds. And I know, okay, this is the right place. It's in focus. Go. That's it.
100%.
Right? So, well, it's like the name says, right? It's speedy.
I
So, okay, I'm gonna engrave this just to show like a little bit of personalization on this. That was it. That took 5 seconds. So you can clean a little bit. Let's put my camera, right? Let's put my camera because
yeah.
Okay.
That
was like okay. So you can. That's it. Took 5 seconds, and you can charge $15 for something like that. So see why I don't want to make like an ROI case on numbers, because it could be like how can you even compare this? Like of course you can get a bunch of orders to engrave different names on different items on your Speedy, yeah, for sure. But if a customer walks to your shop, which is a rarity nowadays, but let's say you're doing an event and people will walk to you and say, hey, I have this item, or are you selling water bottles? I want to do, put my son's name on it. Okay, sure. Put there. Another 10-second setup. Put the name. Go.
Done.
There you go. It's gonna be $35, and you're like, whoa. Now you should have an exhaust system.
Yes.
I gotta remind you guys that. I know you can see the smoke.
We should have an exhaust system too. We're not excused from this, but Miguel's a trained professional. Don't do what Donnie don't does, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna do something else here and the chop value stuff. But yeah, keep talking.
Well, I was just gonna say, I wanted to follow up what you were saying. Like, you're exactly right. It's anecdotal, of course, but like, we recently, I guess not so recently anymore. It was January, February. We had a visit from some of our colleagues from Austria who went to Legoland in Munich, or Legoland in Germany. They're telling us about how they sell a lunchbox, like a little lunch kit shaped like a giant Lego brick. The basic one was something like 10 euros, but they can also add your name on it, except with your name on it, it costs, I think it's 32 euros. So it basically triples the cost of the lunchbox. And what they've done is actually take something away, technically. I mean, they've removed material, but never underestimate the value of personalization, right? I mean, Miguel and I could tell you a million stories about doing pens and stuff at trade shows, and it never ceases to amaze me how interesting that is for people of all ages, people of all walks of life. There's just something special about not just having a pen. It's like now it's your pen, it's Miguel's pen. You know what I mean? And that's kind of that's cool. You can turn any item into a special item.
And I love leather. So as you can see, leather works really well, especially the rawhide. This is quality, right? You can do that on a watch strap, put someone's name on it, or I don't know, on your own bag. I don't know. Like, you guys are more creative. You guys are more creative than I am. So,
So what is it you have in there now? Is it that's a piece of the material from Shop Value?
Yes.
I mean,
I know.
It might be lagging a little bit, but like, I think it's a cool exemplar of like personalization in a small, like how quick and easy it would be to do something like that's a keychain technically, I think, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they do that. With the Speedies, right? So now I'm just gonna change a little bit my settings. I'm gonna put 50% power, and I'm gonna keep the same speed.
If you guys aren't familiar with Chop Value, I mean, you can see some of their stuff on our YouTube channel, but basically it's like recycled chopsticks is what Miguel's, marking on there.
I've ran 4 times already. It looks so good.
Oh
yeah, 5 times.
So it's lagging a little bit, but if you could show it on your camera, I'd be like
I ran this 5 times in what, 10 seconds?
I mean, how long did it take me to take that one sentence? Holy smokes, it's nice.
And believe this is deep. This is like deep. I don't know how to show you guys that, but it's a millimeter deep at least.
They'll have to come see it in person in Mississauga.
Yeah, you gotta come see in person in Mississauga because this is deep. So there you go.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Like, if I did that on Speedy and I saw that it didn't engrave well the first time, I'd be like, should I take it? Should I not take it? I'm gonna close it and run it again. This one, I was like, okay, that wasn't good enough. F12. Maybe another one. F12.
F12.
And just F12. And they're like, okay, now it's pretty good. And there's nothing around it, right? Like, also because the quality of the product, the chop file is incredible. So, like,
no doubt. But at the same time, I mean, like, you're right though. I mean, when each mark only takes 2 to 3 seconds, you can run it 5 times, and it's no big deal. Question from Artisan. I don't know if we have any experience doing this. So Artisan's asked about stone. Obviously, stone is possible with a CO2. I don't know if we've ever tried it in a CL, but like if it's doable with a CO2, it should be doable with a CL. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we done it together in Vancouver when I was there for the training in the open house. Lorraine was there, and I think Lisa, she brought a couple of stones and a couple of gems for us to try. Like, and we did on agate. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Agate.
And something else. Yeah, and it looked pretty good. So if we had some, I would show it to you. But yes, you absolutely can. And it would take the exact same amount of time. Like 3 seconds, 5 seconds.
I mean, that's the thing too. I just want to underscore this again. I mean, if you guys have ever seen our videos showing off what you can do with a CO2 laser, and obviously there are a lot of them on our YouTube page, any of that stuff, I think pretty much by and large is possible with the CL. Because I mean, it's just another.
This is what I wanted to do. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I wanted to do, but I'm not that bold yet. I'm gonna get an actual what's it called, a cover for my phone. I don't know, a phone case. Yeah. And then I'm gonna engrave in the CL just to see how it looks. But I wanted to actually do the glass, the back glass on the CL. But one day maybe, not now. I still value my stuff. I gotta detach. So, Don, are you frozen? I think. Don. He's back. Yeah, here he is. So yeah. Anyway, I was telling them that I wanted to do on my iPhone, but I'm not that detached yet with my, earthly items. So I'm gonna do that in a phone case later. But yeah, so there you go. You can do a custom phone case on the spot in seconds. You can have different designs and put different names on it. You can have like a front store. And I was gonna give an idea, but I can't because this is for a customer that's already talking with us. But they have such a cool idea that you can come in, see the design that you want, and then hit and go. I think we have other customers that do something similar, but it's not as customizable. And with the SpeedMarker, is absolutely 100% customizable by the customer, not even you. Like, you can have a few templates. The customer can go there, type whatever they want, put the item there, go.
Done. I mean, the other thing too, definitely don't. If you're not familiar with the SpeedMark software, we've showed it off a few times in the past. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but our YouTube channel will have some stuff on SpeedMark there. You can see exactly the level of customization and how easy it is to use, like Miguel's talking about. I think SpeedMarker in particular, I've heard stories of people even, we can do like a custom overlay for it ahead of time. So you can even just have somebody come up, scan a barcode from an item, and it'll bring up the template for that item right in the software kind of thing. SpeedMark has a level of kind of customization, even on the front end, that you can do that's, pretty robust compared to Ruby or Job Control.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, we're getting near the top of the hour, bud.
I actually, this went further than I expected. I thought it was going to be something pretty quick and simple because I just wanted to show you guys how easy things are with this machine when it comes to personalization. I wish we had a little bit more like good quality denting, but as you guys saw, in the jacket, it works, and it works really well. It's always about what you're doing, right? And like I said, this machine is being selling a lot for existing customers. So most of them are just rethinking how their production works. And this is what we're here to show. It's like your production after you bought your first machine was one way. 1 or 2 years later, it started changing. Either increased by a lot, or it became like different than what you expected. It's not like huge orders. It's more like multiple orders with different items. So what does fit you best? What solves your problems? And I think that the galvos are a great answer for those things.
Definitely. And I think also with the caveat that definitely check out the TrotecLaser.com, see where your local Trotec is, the closest one to you, whether you want to do a web demo with us or an in-person demo. That sort of ROI calculation, that figuring out, if you think you could add something to what you're currently offering your customers, or you think you could add something with a new or an extra machine, or whether you are an existing customer, potential new customer, anything like that, come see Miguel, come see Mike, James. I mean, any of our sales guys, they'd be very happy to talk through that stuff with you and try and figure out, what the solution is and what makes the most sense for you. That's what they're here for. That's what they love doing. A huge thanks to everybody who watched today. We had some great questions from the chat. Obviously, shout out to Artisans and everybody else who's joining us. Really appreciate you guys, whether you're watching it now or on YouTube in the future. We always appreciate it.
Sorry that I didn't interact with the chat too much this time. Like, I had a lot of stuff in my mind to talk about, so I was focused on these. But yeah, Adewale, nice to see you here again. Like, I gotta go back. Amy, I haven't even seen her. So Lorenzo, like all these people, Cheryl,
Amen.
That come here every week. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Being here all the time. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Can't say it any better than that. If you guys have any questions, you can always toss them in the YouTube comments. We will answer you as quickly as we can as possible. Again, if you're ever interested to come down and see Miguel or any of the other guys in person, definitely give us a shout. We'd love to have you out. And I know no matter where you're watching from in the world, your local Trotec or the Trotec near you would be feeling the same way. Next week, I think we have potentially a large format stream coming up. I'm not entirely sure. That one's still up for debate. I think we're figuring out kind of what our plans are there, but we have some cool large format stuff coming down the pipeline. Next week, if nothing else, I think we might even do a French stream with myself and Didier and Kelly. So myself and then two people who can actually speak French. I think the Portuguese stream can't be far behind. Miguel with Miguel, possibly. We could get George on there, I guess. But
it is extremely weird for me to talk in Portuguese about the stuff that I do. You guys have no idea. I had a couple customers that did speak out there from Brazil and live here in Canada, and I talked to them in Portuguese, and it was so weird. I don't know, it just feels weird. I don't know how bilingual people do that. Like,
I don't know, man. I bet you sounded great, regardless. That's the great thing. Every time I've heard you speak Portuguese, like even if you feel weird saying it, at least like Portuguese always sounds nice. It always sounds like you said it's the romantic language.
That is true. Portuguese from Brazil. Just so you guys know.
Right. Hey, I defer, man. You know better than me. Okay, on that controversial note.
George's not here. I think he's on vacation.
Yeah.
If you do need anything related to materials and consumables, George is your guy.
Yeah, you want to learn more about the laser leather, George? Absolutely. In Canada, he's your guy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it. Hopefully, we'll see you again next week on Friday. Same laser time, same laser channel. Otherwise, take care, everybody. Be kind.